What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross. I like games, and today, well, look, it's been a little while. It's been a bunch of weeks. OP-05 has been out for a little while now, and the most valuable cards have been changing. I've actually had a couple of questions lately. People going, "Wassy, what's going on with OP-05?" Because OP-04 is out now in English. We've had that for a couple of weeks now. So people are starting to get a bit antsy. People want to know what's going on with OP-05 now that the dust has settled, so to speak. And the answer is, yeah, there's been a bunch of changes. We should have a little bit of a chat about this. Now, I want to do a top 10, but it's really hard to do a top 10. I can give you a top 9. Top 9 I can give you really easily. Top 10, not so much. And the reason is, there are 9 cards that separate themselves in terms of value. And then there's basically 6 other cards which are all pretty much the same. So, for instance, the alternate art Bello Betty and the alternate art Sabo leaders. Very cool cards. Big fan of those cards. Last time we looked, they were on the top 10 list. Maybe you can put one of them in at number 10. I don't think so. For me personally, Bello Betty is my favourite leader in the set. I think that leader is brilliant. I love that you discard a Revolutionary Army card from your hand and then buff 2 Revolutionary Army characters or trigger characters by 3k this turn. This is what I'm going to be playing mostly in OP-05. I love it. Sabo, also a decent leader that people are liking quite a bit. And obviously, you know, Sabo as a character, people tend to like Sabo, right? Sabo's pretty cool. And, you know, Don X1 on your opponent's turn once per turn. If your character with 5,000 power or more would be KO'd, you can instead give them minus 1,000 power. Cool card. I don't think either of these two get number 10. I think the alternate art Enel. I think that's what gets number 10. And like I've said, we can flick it around quite a bit. This is my best guess at the moment, having a look at a bunch of sites over in Japan. This is the best that I can do. Is it perfect and guaranteed? Nah. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I am doing my best. The Enel, of course, very, very cool leader. That is the one whereby on your opponent's turn, once per turn, when your life would become 0, you put a card from the top of your deck to the top of your life and then trash a card from your hand. It is a great, great leader. For what it's worth, the other ones that could potentially fill this number 10 slot, basically most of the leaders could pop in here. We also could go and put Sakazuki in here. That's a leader that people are loving that could absolutely be popped into this spot if you wanted to. Sakazuki, yeah, honestly pretty cool. I'll give that to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pretty cool leader. This is the one whereby it is a dual color blue and black, and activate main once per turn, draw a card after you trash one, and then when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. Funny thing is, all the leaders are at least at 4,000 yen. I should say number 10 is 4,000 yen. 4,000 yen, you are looking, and look, we're rounding a little bit here. We're using a conversion at the time I record this, so, you know, bear that in mind. But 4,000 yen, you're talking basically $27. It's about $27. And these are all about $27, except Don Quixote Rocinante, which absolutely doesn't fit in there. There are a couple of others you could put in there. The Special Kaido. Remember, there are special cards in this set. They are absolutely beautiful. The Special Kaido, which is just a reprint of the one from OP-04. Yeah, the really good one. That one is also sitting at about 4,000 yen. And the alternate art secret rare Luffy, also sitting there at about 4,000. Any of these could be in number 10. I'm giving it to Enel, but just bear in mind that it's not perfect. From here, we can go quite nicely, though. In at number 9, we've got the special version of Enel, which comes in at 6,000 yen. And 6,000 yen, you're talking somewhere in the region of about $40. In fact, almost exactly $40. And this is actually an alternate art, or a special version of the Enel from the set. Remember, Enel wasn't here before OP-05, so there was nowhere else to take it from. 7 cost, 7,000 power rush, and once per turn, if this character would leave the field, you can trash a card from the top of your life instead. Unless there's a Monkey D. Luffy on the field, because of course, well, you'll know if you've seen the manga or read the anime. In at number 8, we've got the alternate art Luffy leader, which comes in at 7,000 yen. So you're talking basically $47 here. And this is recognition that Luffy is the best leader in the set. I still think Enel has got a very, very good chance to be the best leader in the set. However, as it stands at the moment, Luffy is the best leader in the set. Because that is the only one that's coming up above 4,000 yen. And actually, Luffy gets up all the way to 7,000 yen. Luffy is basically being said to be the best leader in the set. Okay, cool. Glad we cleared that up. And to be fair, it is a very, 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 very good leader. It's one, I've already shown you a winning list on this channel. By the way, I'm showing you the regular arts as well, just because it's nice to compare. Obviously, the card on the right is the one that is actually on the list. Activate main once per turn. You may add a card from the top of your life to your hand. And then if you've either got 0 or 3 or more Don, that's so that you can't use it turn 1. Add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck active. Gives you card advantage and Don advantage in the early game. This is a very, very good thing that we like very much indeed. So yeah, Luffy absolutely comes in here. In at number 7, we've got the special version of Yamato, which comes in at about 10,000 yen, so you're talking $67. And this is a reprint of the one from OP-01, but it's done in that lovely special style that we've got in this set. So you've got Banish and you've got Double Attack. It's a very good card. Actually, Yamato has been spiking this card from OP-01 since we saw the OP-06 Yamato leader. So this special version, if Yamato is as good as we're all thinking going into OP-06, this special version of Yamato is going to keep climbing in price. Keep an eye on it. Although the special cards in this set, the female characters, are jumping in price. Like in at number 6, we've got the special Uta, coming in at 13,000 yen, so you're talking about $86. And what we've got here is, once again, a reprint. Specifically here, we are talking about the reprint of the one from OP-02, which is to say, Don -2, and it gives your leader and all of your characters an extra 1,000 power until the start of your next turn. So they do have the extra power on your opponent's turn when your opponent might be trying to take them out. In at number 5, we got the special Nami, also at 13,000 yen. And it's hard to pick between Uta and Nami. Generally looking around, Nami tends to be coming in a little bit higher. But you could easily flip-flop these around and I wouldn't be upset with you. But like I say, having a look, this seems to be the correct order. It is absolutely ready to change. Obviously, this is the one with the alternate art from OP-01, and it's got that lovely skill that lets you look at 5 cards on the top of your deck, find a Straw Hat crew other than Nami to pop into your hand, and then put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order whatsoever that you like. It is a very good card that sees a bunch of play, and this is a very cool version of it. Maybe not the coolest version, though. I'm going to leave that one up to you. Now, we saw a pretty big jump between 8 and 7, but we're seeing a giant jump between 5 and 3. And I'm going joint at number 3, so I'm going to do them one at a time, but I'm putting in at number 3, Manga Kid. Remember, there are 3 manga rares in OP-05. One of them is Kid. It is the manga version of, the Kid from the set, obviously. And you got Blocker, and on your turn, once per turn, when a Don card on your field is returned to your Don deck, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck, set it as active. It's actually a phenomenal card that is already seeing a bunch of play in purple, because if you've got 2 Kid out, you return 1 Don to your Don deck, and then you put 2 out, because each Kid will activate once. This is a very, very powerful card, which is seeing a humongous amount of play. Just, bear that in mind, would you, ladies and gentlemen? It's a very, very cool card. Oh, I put it on the screen, but I didn't actually tell you yet. This comes in at 100,000 yen. I told you there was a big jump. This is $665. In terms of collectability, OP-05 is the set. If you've been looking and thinking, well, which set should I be investing in? OP-05. Want to make that super clear right at the beginning here. OP-05, you should be focused on OP-05. We have never had a set like OP-05. It is ridiculous. Because in at number 3, yeah, I'm not separating them, you can't make me, we've got Manga Law. Very similar thing going on to what we said with a kid a minute ago. It is a manga version of the card from the set. There are 3 manga cards in the set. Also coming in at 100,000 yen, which gives you about $665. Also a pretty cool card that is seeing a bunch of play. Although playability-wise right now, you've probably got to give it to Kid. Although Law is a good card seeing play. Also, the Akira Igawa artwork. I mean, I've been raving about Akira Igawa since they started doing art for the One Piece TCG. But even in that context, oh my word, this is ridiculous. This might be the best they've done, and that is saying a lot. But when attacking, if your opponent has more Don cards on the field than you, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Heart Pirates card, add it to your hand, and put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Cool. Very, very good card. Now, in at number 2, we've got the signed Luffy, another huge jump here, coming in at 180,000 yen, which is $1,200. Yeah. And here's the interesting thing. Last time we looked at this set, when we looked at it before, this was the clear number 1. It was 50,000 yen higher than the number 2. Now it's in at the number 2. If anyone's wondering, the Oda drawn Luffy, not the signed Luffy, but the drawn Luffy, it's like 2,500 yen. It's nowhere near the top 10. It's not a particularly rare or valuable card, which is great because it's drawn by Oda. And it's really not a valuable card, which is awesome. The signed one it's 180,000 yen. And look, I could tell you that it's a reprint of the one from the starter deck. Nobody's going to play the signed Luffy in a deck. You shouldn't play the signed Luffy in a deck. Not unless you're rich and you just don't care and you've got the money to spend. In which case, yeah, go get yourself a playset and play it. It's a fine card. It doesn't see a huge amount of play anymore. It's got Rush and then Don X2 when attacking your opponent can't activate blocker, which is fun. But really here, this is just, it is not just drawn by Oda, it's got Oda's signature on it. And that makes it an extremely special card and one that people are very, very, very excited about. But in at number 1, it's Manga Luffy. Now, last time we looked at this, Manga Luffy was sitting at about 150,000 yen, and signed Luffy was sitting at 200,000 yen. Well, now, signed Luffy has gone down to 180,000, and Manga Luffy has gone up to $250,000 yen. That is $1,660. That is an absurd amount of money, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very, very rare card. And remember, because you've got 3 of the manga cards in this set, it means even if you pull a manga, there's only a 1 in 3 chance it's actually Luffy. Which is absurd, but kind of awesome. Interestingly enough, it is the same Luffy that we looked at as potentially being number 10. It is actually a pretty gosh darn good card that is seeing a bit of play here and there. It is the one where on play, Don -10, put all of your characters other than Luffy to the bottom of your deck in any order, but then take an extra turn, and then once per turn you can pay 1 to add a Don from your Don deck active. Phenomenal card. Wow, very good card at least. But the manga version is that, and look, it's Gear 5 Luffy as a manga. That's all you need to know. It is the manga rare of Gear 5 Luffy. It is always going to be a great card. It is interesting to me that some of the leaders have dropped off the list. This is a list that is really dominated at the bottom end. From 5 down to 9, 4 of them are special cards. It is dominated by special cards and manga cards. And I said this before, but let me say it again. If there was ever a set to invest in, and by invest I don't mean buy loads and put it away to make lots of money, I mean a set where it was worth spending a bit more than normal, really focusing your resources, a set where you want to be getting a bunch rather than just picking up the odd single, this is it. This is a phenomenal set, and like I say, all the cards are going down generally, the leaders are going down, the specials are actually drifting up, and the manga cards, Kid and Law are staying at 100,000 yen, but Manga Luffy has gone up by 100,000 yen. It is the clear number 1 card in the set, clearly above signed Luffy, and it's not even close. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards you're looking forward to. Tell me how hyped you are for OP-05. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.